Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to LEGO MARVEL Avengers. Let's continue. So, you're in this kind of weird position where we're in the overworld section now. We would need to be able to switch between many different characters, which, like, we have probably enough to accomplish a lot of the things that we could accomplish, but maybe not everything. Just swap between the two characters. You can see that by default, without buying any radar, there's just things all over the place. It's easier just to swap characters than it is to play, but what we kind of need is a quest detector and a and we need a character token detector and a red brick detector. Although there is no red brick detector, there's a gold brick detector. Interesting. Interesting that there's just a controller here that that is just on a Lego wall in the middle of nowhere. It's fairly obvious that this whole area is just being reused from previous Lego games. And anytime we have a guy screaming for help. Okay. And I don't know if there is an extra that even lets you play as a character that can unlock the other characters. If we look here, we can see like Ultimate Ultron is going for 5 million, which is quite a lot. Let's see. Madam B. Is she Hydra? Nope. Madam B is not Hydra. I know we played as a bad guy. It's just kind of hard to figure out what where it is. And yeah, I have no idea what that did. That seemed like that just activated a switch that could be activated with Hydra, a Hydra character, for no reason, and it's not like there is a counter for all of that.
This is how an agent of Hydra handles his affairs.
Right. So we're supposed to knock down this purse snatcher guy and beat him up, I guess. And then after you beat him up a certain amount, instead of waiting to see the character blow up into pieces, they cut. So we have a gold brick somewhere where we are, and it's seems like maybe I need to go back and talk to this guy. Nope, there's no way to talk to characters.
What? The trains from Grand Central are canceled again?
It must be under here. Yeah, there's a gold brick. Back over here, which we probably need Hawkeye, which we're gonna have to be careful about figuring out what characters we want to use and what characters we want to unlock, because you don't want to run into a scenario where you're constantly building, switching between different characters, you run into this problem where the game itself would like you to unlock all these hundreds of characters, but then you wouldn't actually know what character to play as. Let's see, Steve Rogers as Captain America. Interesting. Then press A and swing that around. Alright, let's find Thor.
Man fan fiction last night. Here's hoping Tony Stark never sees it. He'd turn as red as that suit of his.
Thor. Age of Ultron. Fly upward. And we'll just get down to the core problem with the ability to fly in an open world. We can look here and we can see a outline of what I suppose would be the other boroughs of New York. Although I couldn't directly tell you whether that's like upstate New York that direction and whether that's like New Jersey, or if New Jersey actually is even anywhere close to Manhattan. Over here we can see what I think is called the Triskelion, which was a shield base that held criminals, and I guess it's supposed to be like Rikers Island. Oh no, this is the raft. We have these fly levels that have character token challenges. And you probably aren't going to be able to do these races with Thor as much as they want you to probably do them with Tony Stark, and that way you can get a boost around. I suspect there's not a significant number of these races. Take note that they've completely abandoned the usual LEGO way of doing this, which would to have a circle of LEGO studs that you would fly through and collect. We're seeing none of that, basically making this a non-LEGO element in the LEGO game. I think we're going to fly by where Professor X's facility would be, which is supposed to be upstate New York. And so that is supposed to be the Xavier Academy that we just flew by. A lot of this either existed or so we just unlocked the Mooncopter by doing that, and this is probably about the best way to just fly around and get a feel for the land. But I am gonna immediately really need to go and get at least 3 red bricks. No, that they're labeling this as an Avengers facility because they don't have access to the Xavier Academy and the X-Men license. Lots and lots of 3D models here with no real LEGO studs, and you can't really fly over the buildings and see a bunch of LEGO quests or red bricks or gold bricks that you need to collect. So flying doesn't really help you, but it will give you the ability, if you don't play particularly well, to fly around and look at the radar and just pick a point.
There appears to be some trouble close by. I'd be there to help out, but I'm pretty busy recording videos of myself lip-syncing popular songs.
This is definitely a scaled down version of Manhattan. They're turning several blocks into just one block, and then here you have the big park in the middle, and what we would like to see, I suppose, is where Broadway is. We started over there, and here we have a Marvel headquarters building, which might be a legitimate location where Marvel headquarters was or is. So you come over here, you see the Marvel headquarters, but you can't walk in or do anything by the looks of it. It's just a building. There might be some collectible somewhere around it, but honestly, it feels like the vast majority of things are not actually accessible. There aren't little rooms inside of the buildings, which that would be the next thing. That's where a game like Skyrim takes the next step, and they have lots of caves and buildings that you can enter. Here we have the New York Broadway. What is? I think that's what it's called. Maybe this isn't Broadway. This is, and we've seen similar sections. Last time we saw this, there was this ramp that jumped into a section, and now it doesn't jump into a section, and they've kind of scaled down Times Square. That's what it's called, Times Square. And there's just a ton of advertisement for Marvel stuff, and then other just generic LEGO stuff. But I would say this probably is one of the best and probably newest takes on Manhattan that we've seen. And as we get more to the downtown financial district, you're seeing more tall buildings, but on the tall buildings I'm not really seeing any real platforming. Here we have Kronos Corporation, which that plays some part in the story. Over here we have the Statue of Liberty, Liberty Island, which in previous games they've locked away this and made it impossible to actually reach the area. Here we can just fly directly to it, and in previous games there's been little secrets and collectibles, like final secrets. In the Lego City game there was a Mario icon character token, but that Mario character token was taken out of the PC version. And here we can see there's just going to be an invisible barrier that stops you from going any further. And I don't even think that there's gonna be like specific reasons to get on the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see there's just a whole bunch of Lego barriers, and then there's no cars, and there's no real explanation why there wouldn't be any cars. It would be interesting to see how far you have to go. Yeah, no cars on this road. No cars on this road. You don't start seeing cars until you get to this intersection. And I imagine they're just programmed not to go down that road. You have some interesting skid marks on the ground. That seems new. That's a visual texture that is something extra. And then there's car races to do. So I guess the question is, do I need score multipliers before I do the open world stuff? or do I need to just run around and look at and play a little bit so that I don't end up doing the free play levels? Well, and then who knows at what point we do the DLC levels. I think we probably do need the score multipliers. So let's see what Washington DC looks like. That was Manhattan. But we also have Barton's Farm. I imagine outside of Manhattan. Who am I playing as? Thor and Thor? Thor and Thor, yeah. They match two of the exact same characters. I don't know why they would have done that. But I guess that works for my purpose.
Face front. This looks like yet another perilous predicament.
So if we look here and look at the area, there's not a lot in Washington DC, so we probably could just clear everything in Washington DC right now with what we've got. So let's just see, because this is just effectively the Washington Monument surrounded by a barrier. It's nice that they thought of something here, but this really should have just been a level. Like, there's no reason here that this small of an area shouldn't have just been a level. And inherently, I think having an open world section around Washington DC would not be particularly recognizable outside of the Washington Monument, the State and Senate House, the White House, things like that. You would really just be making a game otherwise that is centered around that. You don't even see a lot of movies that bother to show parts of Washington DC. It's mostly lawyers' offices and bars, as far as I can tell. How much time do you have in these races? It seems like you have about 5 seconds, and you get a couple of seconds every time you fly through a ring. Alright. So maybe we can get the side areas done, and then Manhattan will be left as the default area. There's a gold brick back here. And every time we collect these, wow, that camera is really badly placed. It looks like there's probably a decent amount of stuff that you can play with that might not really equate to anything. So Stanley needed to be rescued in the sense that he needed to find a way to escape without getting wet.
At what point do I stop being a cameo and start being a star?
So there's Stanley in peril rescued. This is an interesting way to do a LEGO American flag. There's really not a lot of great ways to do LEGO American flags. Let's see. Yeah, that's not gonna win. What are these? Is this a teleport in vehicle station? Probably. So we can teleport in Not a bicycle, that's ridiculous. Let's try that again. We can do better than a bicycle. There you go. Black Panther cycle car. That was some DLC that probably will work fairly well. We need to purchase the track studs. We need to get to unlock and purchase the red bricks to double, quadruple, and just ever increase the number of studs. This doesn't control particularly well, so I'm having to feather the accelerator that way. I can make through it. I think I may have cheated the game a little bit there on accident.
Kinda wish the Skullman had warned you about this sort of
Real easy to crash into things. Real easy to fall over. This, you totally wouldn't have made this in a car. I imagine the motorcycle, there might be a motorcycle that's like the perfect vehicle to use, and there's probably an argument too. Yeah, didn't make it. Alright, well.
Here's hoping Tony Stark never sees it. He'd turn as red as that suit of his.
Let's see. We need somebody like Wanda who can control people. Which, where is Wanda? Yeah, we have all these DLC characters now. I imagine some of these DLC characters might be useful, but once again I'd have to figure out who has what ability. Come on, Wanda, where are you?
Hey there.
I see Quicksilver here, and this is Pepper Potts, and it's not like alphabetical, because if it was alphabetical it would be something like Vision. You can try Vision and see if he has the ability to control the mind of characters. Yes, he does. Okay, he breaks that. Then that
Those are the most unconvincing costumes I've ever seen.
what lets you open up a door, and then we need somebody that can break glass, and I don't think that's Thor, even though it totally would make sense that Thor would be able to break glass. Of course, that is the problem you would always run into, is that some of these characters definitely could break, could have all the abilities, and there's really no reason for them not to be able to have all the abilities. I guess I have to run around smashing all the gold bricks, which, let's see. I don't know if you can get Bruce Banner and turn into the Hulk. And I don't know any other big characters. Iron Man Scuba. Iron Man Mark 1. Mark 43, Mark 45. No Hulkbuster armor. Here's the Hulk. He is hidden back behind that.
no jaywalking. Our most important law.
And then see if we can get the camera to actually point in the right direction. So that's another gold statue broken. Hmm. We'll fly around. Up here we see a station that needs to be powered for gold. Probably is easier just to fly around. And I guess you do need to open the door before the cages go away. This is a nice little sample open world. It would have made a lot of sense to have this section first. I don't know. I can't switch out from him easily. Yeah, I don't know where in the story you would specifically have a Washington DC open world section, but there definitely could have been one. I would also say that you're interesting. Lots of places here you can get some studs breaking flowers. This is like a Captain America memorial. Yeah, we still have a problem where we can't favorite any of these characters. And it would make so much sense if there was just a top row where you could favorite. And you can make some custom characters if this is like any of the previous LEGO games. So you might be able to make a custom character that can do quite a few things. If we go back to the helicarrier and bother with that. But Black Widow is her name. I keep forgetting what her name is and thinking it's something like Black Cat or something.
I read some Iron Man fan fiction last night. Here's hoping Tony Stark never sees it.
They're talking about this Iron Man fan fiction over and over again. Which, that's a funny line to hear once, but I've heard it multiple times. I imagine this wall was closed if you weren't standing on a specific platform. That's an interesting idea, certainly for a minigame that we haven't seen. Black Widow, a fairly agile character. I could see wanting to play as her quite a bit. Here you have characters, they literally are despawning. They're not allowed to walk in this room. There must have been some kind of glitch. That might be a reference to like European money and not non-United States dollars. The greenbacks in the United States are all the same color. Of course they have different numbers on them, but I guess if you can't read the numbers, that would be a problem. Oh man, this is such a hassle already. You can but there's no better system by any means. You're not going to be able to run around as Hawkeye and then solve half of the puzzles and then change to a different character. Yeah, I know how to jump to poles. That's not the problem. There should have been a pole there. And there's something here that needs to be stood on. I don't know what what character needs to stand on this, but I suspect it's probably the Hulk. But then that puts the Hulk in a very small area. Acrobatic characters. Like Black Widow can swing from bowls. Even if there was just a recent list, that would be helpful. I don't get this. Maybe I have the wrong Hawkeye. Age of Ultron Hawkeye. Let's see if that works. No. This doesn't do anything. And coming over here. Yeah, that totally looks like you should be able to shoot an arrow into that. And you can. It just wasn't working for some reason. So we've run into yet another glitch. Okay. Jump this way, and then jump that way. And that activates that part. Then that lets her stand there. And then I don't understand what I'm supposed to do here. I guess I was supposed to jump up to that point and hit a button. That was a more complicated challenge to get a character token. Diamondback, I have no idea who that character is. Yeah, this really goes to show that there's no need for a lot of the red bricks in the overworld sections, but they won't really benefit you much if you run around the overworld sections. Here we have Daredevil. Let's see what he wants us to do.
Can you believe it? Someone's trying to ruin my reputation.
Blazing Skull.
Fires around the place. I mean, who's gonna believe the innocence of a guy with a big flaming head? A blazing skull, even. But I swear, it wasn't me. Please, you gotta help me clear up this mess. First things first, we need to put out those fires. Unfortunately, I'm not so well equipped for that.
So we're running and we don't have like a timer, but we will need to swap to Captain America.
I'm staying at a non-incriminating distance.
So we run with the shield up and smash all of that. And since we went into a mission, we kind of have a limitation on the number of other things we can do, but it doesn't seem to be particularly limited. You could run into a problem with any open world game where you make 5% progress on one goal and then 5% on another goal and 5% on another goal. That was kind of the problem with Skyrim too, is that you would often get some item for some quest and not really know what the quest was even for. I'm doing friendly fire on him accidentally. It still feels fairly slow.
Another fire here. Don't know who lit it.
And this, I guess, is an opportunity where you can have a lot more comedy, because now the Flaming Skull as a character is being voice acted probably by whoever voice acts the Flaming Skull in whatever cartoon he would have shown up in. So this was where you would have a lot more of the entertainment section.
Is that?
That I don't know if we're going to end up doing more of these Flaming Scroll segments or not. We might see more of them, we might not. You have a kind of noisy sound effect. And I don't know who. They just
Human Torch. You're behind this? But why?
say Human Torch from Fantastic Four. Interesting.
Don't you see, Blazing Skull? You've always had the power to start fires, but to truly be one with the flame, you must know how to put them out.
What? What kind of stupid lesson is that?
All right, you got me, kid. I just wanted some attention. Can't an old superhero start some fires to get some attention? Is that so wrong?
Yes, it is.
Yes! Sorry to get you mixed up in all this. Thanks for helping me clear things up.
So, very possibly, that's the only time we're going to do a mission like that. Although we may have other missions put out flames. We may find that the Human Torch decides to start some more fires for attention.
Don't make me write you a ticket.
This is
Blazes,
super slow, though. I'm going to switch over to Hawkeye. Yeah, you have nice peaceful music. Probably not going to get content ID'd music if I was to hope. Playing in this open world section. And we're going to just kind of sort of quickly figure out what needs to be done and by who, and then we'll, I think, pretty much clear this whole level. We need Tony Stark, which means we need Iron Man. Once they implemented multiple suits for a single character, that's when they started to really cheat the system and overflood LEGO games with characters. I guess I'm supposed to tap B, not hold B, because holding B does the laser thing. And I totally cheated. As in, don't land on the grass. Alright. Oh, this could be fairly annoying. Alright, so I need to do this, and then double tap to fly. Almost fell. And then use the circular dot to fly. And then land here. I feel like this is how they intended you to solve this puzzle. Black Widow may have been able to do this, but the controls are all fiddly enough with each character that it isn't realistic to believe that a lot of kids would be able to do it that way. Here we have a jet, which I assume just take us back to the Quinjet, the helicarrier. Here we have Squirrel Girl.
The husband and I had a fight the other day. I won't bore you
know a
with the
character
details.
named Crystal.
Let's just say marriages have never been a strong point for me.
And see, that might be some internal Marvel reference to a character named Crystal, but I have no idea who Crystal is unless she is a secret character that Spider-Man dated, because I think Spider-Man may have been briefly married for like a week to a character that wasn't Mary Jane.
Anyway, I thought I'd get him a souvenir.
But I have no idea,
Smooth things
really.
over. Maybe a Hulk selfie in front of the Washington Monument would fit the bill.
So yeah, this is just another case.
Even better if I could get a shot with all the water fountains on at once. I tried using my powers to manipulate them, but can't quite get it right. Maybe you can figure it out?
So we're supposed to do a puzzle here
I think each
that
switch controls
rotates.
multiple fountains. There must be some kind of trick to it.
It probably inverts the outer ones. So if I do something like that, and then if I do something like that, and then what are we going here? Maybe do something like this. I'm not a huge fan of the way these are depicted. Let's see if we hit that one. The shooting up a cylinder and then spinning it around. Let's see. Okay, that should do it. I guess Crystal is gonna take a picture.
There, you got it. Roll out the green guy and take the picture.
So now, you probably need Iron Man as a default character, always. And then you're gonna use the second character as the speed up.
Perfect. That should keep the other half happy for a while. And if it doesn't, then I guess I'll just get another husband.
Yeah, this is a point where in a game built around Marvel heroes, particularly obscure Marvel heroes that they're gonna mention, they needed to give you a synopsis, a bio of that character, or some background. And frankly, the truth is, they need to, Marvel and DC need to embrace making sure that almost every person has at least a free account to Cosmicology. Is that the name of the website I'm thinking of? There's a comic book website that's not probably the preferred way that I would suggest to read comics, because you don't actually get comic book files of any sort. Instead, you are on the website, and I think it might very well play off a Disney Vault mentality, and frankly that's what they kind of need to do, is give a free account where there are hundreds of free potential comic books that can be read for little kids, compared to then a full account that lets you read entire sections. This is weird. There's things off to the edge that I can't reach. And I wonder if that is an indicator, not that there actually are things off to the edge, but an indicator that they have hidden some things off of screen, because we've seen them do that in LEGO games before, where I feel like there should be an easier way to do this than potentially trying to do that. This is a lot of American flags you're gonna have to beat up. But I guess what you're doing is you're beating them into being fully flowing at the top there. They're flying in the wind as opposed to being bent downward. It's gonna take a while. That's far too many American flags. And normal in a game you would just be able to press a B button on these handles to raise the flags. 21. This is a fairly patriotic American patriotism thing to do in a LEGO game. So all the flags now fly. That opens that door, which how you would know that would open that door is really beyond me. It's not even a building that's particularly close to it's not even particularly close to the flags. Alright, and select a different character, and we'll see if this Hydra agent can activate this and
access granted.
And then it turns it to a Hydra connection, Hydra panel. Even though we don't really know what that unlocked. It unlocked something over that way. And
Access granted.
yeah. So maybe there's two different... Maybe you have to activate the Hydra things twice. That might be the trick there. And then is there anything over here on this platform? No, it just looks like telescopes. Right. See, I wonder if this is going to take me into a DLC level. No, it's taking me into an open world Hydra base. Interesting. And no reason to get studs. Okay. So we now need Quicksilver. You really wish that there was a fast transform red brick, and I think there might be one. But there's almost certainly something that the game forces you to look at, some animation that needs more work to speed up the process. Alright. Who would be a character that can transform their shape? Like, can Vision do that? Yes. He went into this section, and then we need an Ultron like character. Is that who we need? Ultimate Ultron, I guess. So Ultron is a character you need to have purchased. And that was quite a lot of money. And then Ultron can't transform through and phase through walls, so then you have to go back to vision. I suspect we won't end up buying any more characters. And here we have another character that's going to give us a mission. So let's just see what he wants us to do. Yeah, you have a very Marvel-like character.
You're just in time to witness the deployment of Hydra's latest scheme for a new world order. But too late to stop it.
This guy looks like the bad guy in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but then again, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a parody of Marvel comic books, so they probably did base, I think his name was Krang, off of this guy.
Unless you're some sort of computer genius, of course. But I only see one of those around here.
Right. Did I accept the quest? I don't know why the game even requires you to accept quest. It probably should just start the quest immediately. This is another one of these cursor missions. Well, it would be fairly difficult to figure out the right things to click on, but it doesn't seem like it matters. So it seems like you just kind of randomly click on things. Interesting. This is almost like a pattern. But I imagine what you're supposed to do is you're just supposed to click in the blanks and then click in the thing that's the same length. Like, this is the ultimate example of why this minigame does not work. Like, this is just a ton of things that would make some sense if you were... If you were playing on a mobile phone, maybe then it, in a touchscreen, maybe that would make sense. But on consoles, either Switch or PC, that's a terrible interface of minigames. And again, those are minigames that are further and further getting away from LEGO, so it does kind of feel like maybe TT Games is trying to make kids games that aren't LEGO at some point in the future. So we unlock him as a character. That would kind of make sense, but I don't know if the offering works there. Even as a LEGO game, these LEGO games are getting kind of more and more expensive and less fulfilling with almost every iteration. Right, so we need an Avenger. Are you an Avenger? You technically are. But you could say that for a lot of characters. The real reason Avenger comics ever existed is because they wanted to do team-ups without disrupting the original characters, the original characters' storylines in comics. Alright. So we need to play as Captain America with the shield. Far too many non-Captain America characters. I am uncertain as to what I'm supposed to be hitting here. Because these laser emitters don't feel like they need to be hit. That fan apparently was what needed to be hit. And there's Miss Marvel Carol Danvers' outfit. We now need Hulk or Thor. Might be easier to play as Thor if we can remember where he is. Things to break. Build something. You have a lot of people that repeat a lot of sound effects to see what do we need here. Only like Loki, characters like Loki have ice beams, which it's surprising that there would be ice beam abilities and nobody bothered to use those in any of the levels. Probably would be smarter to use these lower characters. There are enough custom characters that it might make sense to make a custom character that's a Hulk and a custom character that's a Hawkeye, and then we could just jump between those characters. Although I'm not sure I really want to waste the time around that. And I have no idea about most of these characters, so couldn't really tell you if Enchantress had ice beams or the Wasp had ice beams. But where would Loki be? Also, this is Carol Danvers, Ultron, Captain America, Crystal, Blazing Skull, Diamondback. So we never played as Loki as a character, so he probably never unlocked. We could play as Spider-Man, several Spider-Mans, but they don't have any ice power either. Jia Ying, she's an Inhuman. Grant Ward and Gordon, these are all Inhumans. Do any of them have ice powers? I don't think so. Yeah, these are Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters. None of them have ice powers though. Doctor Strange. Coulson with the Destroyer gun maybe does ice abilities? That would be about the only thing I could even think. Unless it's Hawkeye. Nick Fury with Bazooka wouldn't make sense. Pepper Potts wouldn't make sense. Tony Stark I don't think ever has ice powers. Scarlet Witch I don't think would have ice powers, and I don't think Maria Hill would have ice powers, and I don't think Bucky Barnes would. Alright, let's see what the gun does. Nope. Let's try this again. Loki. Is there anybody? Iron Man Scuba, Iron Skull, Scubas, Hyperion, Atlas, System 5, Jolt, Mach 5, Meteorite, Songbird, Techno, Agent 13, Black Panther, Civil War, Captain America, Civil War. They did put in Civil War characters, but they didn't put any Civil War storylines in, it seems. Which might be for the best, considering how the entire movie is built around the idea of... Let's try Melter. Nope. Melter's no good. Yeah, considering how the... Try King the Conqueror. Nope. They probably very intentionally didn't give us any character that could do ice in any of the DLC. Manape? Nope. He's an interesting looking character. White Wolf? White Wolf goes invisible. Who's this character? War Machine? And Vision. Try Clea. Clea has psychic powers. Wasp, Lewis. I don't think any of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people had ice powers. If they did, I don't remember them, which is a bad statement on that, unless the Night Nurse has. No. Jennifer Kale. Dr. Voodoo. We'll try Doctor Strange. Nope. Okay. So somewhere in some level I need to play to unlock Loki. Unless Heimdall has ice powers. Nope. Loki is the Darth Vader of the LEGO Star Wars universe. There you go. Finally. That took forever to find. And he has like a Tesseract.
Strike was just British Shield. Apparently they're mostly just Hydra Shield.
I don't know why Shield... I guess maybe Shield was depicted as more of a United States organization originally, but... And Strike was kind of the British Shield, but I think in more modern iterations they've pretty much made Shield multinational, although it did seem like it was still kind of heavily designed around white people being in charge, with the exception of Nick Fury Jr. and English-speaking people being in charge. Alright. And that eliminated the two that were off screen, which does tell us that we will run into problems.
Why can't I remember?
We will run into problems of the radar just pointing us in the wrong way.
It seems familiar, but my memory is so foggy. I'm not sure if I've actually been here or... Alright. Listen to this.
So here we have
You think it sounds right?
Bucky Barnes after he was brainwashed and turned into the Winter Soldier, and after he lost his arm and got it replaced with a robotic arm. I wonder if this is going to be an actual Marvel trivia question.
Ah, shucks! We gotta do something about these robot unicorns terrorizing Washington.
Ah, so it's just going to be flights of fancy and false memories that we're going to relive. That's funny. And I guess the question is,
The ninja ballerinas are attacking.
did this really happen at some point? Were there robot unicorns and ninja ballerinas? Or are they just reusing the ballerina models and the horse models that they already had? Both could be true, frankly.
Hey, does the air taste like strawberries to anyone else?
Hmm.
There's only one way out of this. One of us is gonna have to eat Cat's shield.
So here you have the original group of people who fought with Captain America, who, yeah, Marvel really couldn't do too much with characters like Dum Dum Dugan. They're just so first generation and so old that they're no longer dated. But I really wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in the mid-20s or 40s, whenever the first few series of Captain America were printed, they did end up fighting chickens and robot unicorns and things like that. The Lego chickens are a little too small to be enemies.
Captain America? Sure is. I'd recognize those strong calves anywhere.
And then here you have a custom old lady, and they faded out a lot of the color, but there's still color here, so it's not full black and white. Although, frankly, I think a kid would probably be just as upset with losing bright, colorful colors of a Lego game a little bit as they would be with it going full black and white. Although, if they keep this sequence a little bit shorter than it has been, I imagine most kids wouldn't have even recognized it. That's too many people to fight. And here we have a Lego bear
It's President Bear!
with in a
He's attacking
hat.
civilians! Mr. President, why?
Hmm.
It's no good, Dum-Dum. He's more bear than president now.
So this is a funny little sequence that does kind of let you see how
Looks like we got 'em all, Dum-Dum.
how Bucky Barnes, who is the character on the left, how his memories have all been messed up.
Little buddy. Good work.
And Dum Dum Dugan on the right. It's D-U-M as in humming, not D-U-M-B, D-U-M-B.
I couldn't have done it without you, pal.
You know none of this really happened, though, right?
Yeah, but it sure was fun while it lasted.
I have to go back to my home planet now, Bucky. And you have to go home too.
This is another case where the text is put in an overlay, and I don't know why they didn't just do that with all the subtitles and all the text.
Okay.
It would have been a lot better. It would have been easier to read. So that unlocks Bucky Barnes Classic, but I don't think we'll play with him. Let's see. So we have the race, I know that. And then we have something over here. Let's see what this is. Just a straight boss fight against a character. This is probably a character I need to be Captain America to fight. And I can't press Y, nor can I switch characters. So I am just kind of stuck with Loki. So maybe this was a case where you specifically needed Loki. Like when I press Y, my companion guy goes on the backside, outside this circular ring. So I imagine what I'm supposed to do is just get close enough so I'm not doing ranged attacks. And then once I do enough damage, I get into that battle, this is a wand battle from LEGO Harry Potter. But I'm surprised they were able to even reuse this concept, but they did, and I applaud that. Reusing whatever they can. So there's a wizard unlocked. So it does seem like what's going to happen is we will have 2 blue indicators on this map and nothing else.
People impersonating superheroes. And I'm not just talking about those street performers in the cheap costumes. Let the copyright lawyers deal with those guys. Nah, I'm talking about the guys who come spilling out of the fold. The costumes are spot on, but their personalities are just a teeny weeny bit tuned to the evil side of the spectrum. I was just about to take care of some now. Want to get involved?
So this is talking about something called the Fault, where there are alternate reality versions.
I know he looks like the genuine article, but don't let him fool you. I can tell these fault creeps a mile off.
Okay. I don't think I was supposed to be able to escape the confines of the battle, but I guess maybe you can, and then you can just continue playing if you don't want to continue the fight. Which, yeah, these LEGO games really should be designed to accommodate very young, what you would classify as ADD or ADHD characters if they were a little bit older. But that play style where you can just run around and do anything at any time is what I have appreciated from LEGO games. And these open world sections do seem like they mostly have that, although accepting missions kind of makes it feel like you're getting away from that concept and locking people into battle arenas or creating battle arenas kind of confuses that issue. Although I guess keeping a glowing ring also shows that there is a battle arena happening instead of a character that just might be standing somewhere and easily overlooked. Let's see. I can't even see the other Nova guy if he's making any kind of funny gestures. Yeah, I still wish you could turn up the music a little bit more, or turn down the music in some places also, instead of just being able to adjust the sound effects and turn off the music.
Do jury duties, stuff like that. Oh well, thanks for the assist.
Okay, so according to the radar, now apparently Loki cannot fly, because I'm double tapping the A button, and all it seems to be able to do is a fancy little twirl. And you can raise all the flags, and there might be some achievement for doing that, but doesn't seem like it activates anything. See this last guy.
Whenever I take on a mission abroad, I'm always afraid I'll be unable to find a decent cup of tea. That's why I always bring a healthy supply of the stuff in a number of flasks.
This is Captain Britain.
However,
Another character I don't recognize.
My weakness, and my precious flasks have been stolen. Please, could you do me a huge favor and look for them?
Yeah. Instead of asking, it should just tell. Okay. So we have this, and didn't mean to clone myself. By all semblance, it seems like the flasks.
It's not the end of the world. There's always coffee.
They seem to be kind of all inside. I see what happens here is their feet are not properly programmed at this resolution, and so they get to about this point and they are so far below the ground that they automatically despawn. So I imagine at a proper resolution, characters do actually walk in this area, and this is a glitch of the PC version just not being optimized correctly. What was back behind that? There was something glowing. Yes, but by the way, jaywalking is not the most important law by any means. In fact, the entire phrase of jaywalking was made up by the automobile industry trying to slander people who had the legal right to walk in the streets before cars took over sole control of carriages and carriages. It used to be that streets were specifically designed as a place where people could walk. They were effectively sidewalks, what sidewalks are now, and they started using a slur as a J to describe anyone who was getting hit by a car because nobody was driving safely as it's being their own fault, which is literally just victim blaming. And they criminalized the ability to freely walk on the streets. But in all fairness, what are you going to do about it now would be the response to that. Like, you can't bring back streets as sidewalks where people were free to walk. That would be insane and cause a lot more harm. There must be something up higher. Yeah, there must be something up here. Yeah, we hadn't been up here yet. What the best thing I think they could probably do is simply establish that there has to be sidewalks on every street in the United States, and there's a certain logic to that, but that would be also very expensive and cost a lot of taxpayer money. And I don't know if highways, for instance, need sidewalks and such. And we may very well just have that problem solved anyways, because we may move to fully automated cars, and fully automated cars may at that point reintroduce the idea of people being able to walk on the streets, because the cars may just stop and not hit people. And that would be an interesting future, certainly, where you could have, say, a kid walking to school and they could walk right next to a busy 70 to maybe even 100-mile-an-hour highway with a bunch of automated only cars that would just stop and see the kids walking around. But we're not to that future yet. This is weird. I see that one red dot.
Have you come across any of my flasks? Please, you've got to hurry.
And the only reason he's getting flasks is because they had models for Lego flasks and they wanted to use them somehow. But there are also models for Lego coffee cups, and that would have been a much better decision to use. Because flasks to me imply drinking alcohol at best, or chemicals. They don't imply, look, there's a little visual glitch. Drinking coffee or drinking tea. They could have also used tea leaves. Let me see if perhaps there are some red circles this way. Nah, this is way too far. So, I think I may have also failed the mission. I think I very much failed the mission. And you can do these a second time, but they won't give you anything other than a purple stud. I guess this is a good way to do things, though.
Whenever I take on a mission abroad, however,
we reset it, but that isn't a terrible thought. Okay. So we saw one was there. And then
stiff upper lip, old boy.
We know there's one up here. And we know that there's one here. So we kind of know the range at which these would exist. We found another one somewhere. This is one of those Lego things where they're going to be vague, intentionally vague, so you have to wander around looking for it. You can't walk in the bushes, so it can't be hidden there. Did we find one inside the building? I think we did, behind this panel. Yeah, there is one behind the panel. But is there something else to break inside? No. So unless I'm supposed to break flowers. We have one vague circle.
Have you come across any of my flasks? Please, you've got to hurry.
There's nothing in here anymore. They despawned it. If I walk this direction, seems to pretty well indicate that that's not right. Yeah, we have two guys, two clones, wasting time. But there's kind of nothing to break over here.
I read some Iron Man fan fiction last night. Here's hoping Tony Stark never sees it. He'd turn as red as that suit of his.
Interesting. Where could it be hiding? We can't go too far. We know that much. But we kind of need to go somewhat further away. So we'll just get down on the ground floor.
Hey, what's the rush?
And we'll look around. There was something here that has despawned, I believe. And then there was the thing over in that direction was despawned. Apparently I knocked somebody over. And they reacted to that. Red, white, and blue trash cans.
Oh man.
Hey, no jaywalking. Law.
What's funny is he's telling me not to jaywalk as just a generic sound effect. That is part of the problem with the sound effects of any game, but particularly LEGO characters, is that they give them all these funny lines of dialogue when they really need to just have some generic lines of dialogue said. Things that are incredibly bland and uninteresting, that won't draw someone's attention. In Manhattan, that would have been mostly car noise and taxis. Well, for the life of me, I cannot find this tea.
Stiff upper lip, old boy.
If it was hidden behind a column.
Sokovia. Where's Sokovia?
Take a look up and around.
Have you come across any of my flasks? Please, you've got
We'll break everything here.
half an hour since my last cup of tea.
We'll look around here. Ah, it was behind that point.
Oh, you are so getting
I had been back there, but not during this mission.
Found them. Oh, thank you
Or
kindly.
instance. That's really what these missions are, instances of the same world.
Wait a second. I can fly.
Mm.
That would have been incredibly easy. But then we'd have lost a bunch of perfectly good flasks, and I wouldn't have had an excuse to give you this.
Rayburn College.
So we unlock another character. And that seems like, at the core of it, that's really all we're doing, is we are getting characters and vehicles. And it's been about an hour and 30 minutes to just accomplish that much. The only thing left here in this overworld is this race to get one more vehicle, and then we will have 100% completed this area. And then starting with the next recording, we're gonna have to go on a red brick mission. We'll just have to make it our business to try and get all the red bricks that we can get using a walkthrough. There's really no reason not to. I could cheat it even further and simply put in the codes to get the red bricks, and it may very well be a case where I will just not have all of... Alright. That's, I got stuck on a post there. That was bad design. Let's see. If we switch over to Quicksilver, I guess this would be the real question, is Quicksilver particularly faster in races, or does he just get animated to look like he's faster? Because Quicksilver would be probably one of the easiest characters to control, and he's still not particularly an easy character to control, but in a race like this, it does make sense. You're not going to bump into people, you're not going to get your car stuck on walls. I feel like they could have learned from the Spider-Man game, where Spider-Man, whenever the PlayStation Spider-Man game that came out way after this game came out, but in that game, Spider-Man, whenever he's walking on the ground, is just given greetings by the people, and they go, "Hey, Spider-Man, cool dude," and they're just excited to see you, as kind of random incidental lines of dialogue. Well, that works, so I may end up doing almost every ground race with Quicksilver instead of actually bothering to try to use the bad gameplay mechanics. He's not even a bad jumper. And so that leaves... We've gotten everything in this area, which bought us, frankly, maybe 1.2 percentage points in total collection. And the only other thing we have left on this indicator is this, which lets you summon in some vehicles, which is a very small collection of vehicles for a LEGO game, particularly when you look at how many characters there are. Or you can summon in seemingly any character you're interested in. And then this takes you back to the space station, not to the helicraft carrier, which really you need to be at the helicraft carrier more than anything else. So what I'm gonna do in the next recording is I'm gonna make a special effort to go through each level to get the red bricks in the order that it's listed on the walkthrough, which means we may accidentally go through the levels in a wrong way, but it's pretty much, I still think, the best choice. Where is the helicraft carrier? There's no reason to go back to Washington, D.C., but you can see Washington, D.C. is not glowing as a map to indicate anything like that. Everything has been collected, so we may very well end up having to go to every single open world section just to realize where we're supposed to go. Do you go to Manhattan? Well, Loki doesn't fly. Quicksilver doesn't fly. Manhattan still is the biggest area by far. This will be interesting since we started here to see if we end up landing in Central Park every time. I think the answer probably is yes, but it does seem like it is pushing us in slightly different areas of Central Park, and that was kind of just a random location. Alright. Thor. Where's the helicraft? Should be somewhere visible in the sky. Maybe we can fly to it from the Avengers Tower. Stark Tower. Because that's where you buy everything, and so that should be kind of your hub. That's where you should land. But yeah, there's no plane here. There's nothing that would help you reach wherever it is. So either I missed it in the main menu, or there's some other way. See, that's like a Roxxon power plant, I believe, over there, or it was last time I saw it. Alright, so go to space. It's questionable whether this kind of vehicle that we see flying to space is the right kind of vehicle. Shield base. Shield base. Barton's Farm. Manhattan. Asgard. We haven't even been to Asgard. Sokovia. No strings on me. Maybe Shield Base is it. So that's the only other thing that would even make sense. Let's see what the Shield Base looks like. You can definitely get the feeling that the idea of LEGO Dimensions and having entire worlds would make sense. Nope, this is totally different.
Hey there, me bucko.
This is a different location with more things. Why am I not able to find the helicraft carrier on the map? Let's just go through everything. Let's see. Lack of interest, lack of insight, Barton's Farm, Manhattan, Avengers Assemble, Earth's Smartiest, Washington DC, Classic Captain, Helicraft Havoc, which is a level, Doctor Strange, Master of Evil, Asgard, Lost in the Aether, Shakespeare in the Park, struck off the list, Sokovia. Down here we have Classic Black Panther, Ultron Undone, Rise of Ultron, Strings on Me, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Malibu, which we haven't seen that, Loki entrance, Shield base. Yeah, there should be a helicopter character right here being pointed to, and it's not. So I don't know how you buy things. Like when you get to the extra available to buy, for instance, that was all done on the helicraft, and you must have to get to the helicraft in Manhattan because it couldn't really be anywhere else, and it must just be particularly high up. Alright, so you're Thor, you're flying as high as possible on the upper website. What could be other places that would be bases to maybe get to the helicraft, which must pop in? I mean, we know there's an Avengers base over in that direction, but that's not where we need to go either. We know that that open world section exists. So there has to be some kind of plane somewhere. You can see there is some major pop-in until that happens when you get close enough to the ground. Like a vehicle. Oh. Okay. So there are these ground platforms that you have to find to get to the helicraft. Helicarrier, whatever it's called. Well, that kind of stinks because that's definitely something that we wouldn't have known, and I imagine that means that plane will take us back to space, and I imagine that means to actually get inside of the helicraft you have to probably activate something. What does this do? It's probably summons in planes. Yep, a collection of planes, which is different for people. But what I really need to do is stand on this and press this to go down here. And then from the control room, that's where we need to figure out our bearings as far as different locations and different things that are important.
It's not glamorous work, but somebody's got to do it.
Like, what does this do?
The Avengers, huh? Gotta admire them for all the world saving they do.
Pretty much any quest could be started by talking to these people.
Last time he was here, he was snacking on blueberries. Ended up dropping more on the floor and into our machinery than in his mouth. And who has to clean up after him? Yours truly. And you, I guess. I mean, you can't possibly listen to me complain for that long and not want to help, right? It's not glamorous work,
so I'm just gonna say no to that quest. So yeah, talking to people probably would start quests. And over here seems to be just a hangar bay with some more little collectibles and things to find and interact with. And we'll do all of this later. All I really want to do is figure out where to go to buy the attract studs and make the custom characters. I will suspect this might activate something. That this might be a level select or something. Let's see, that wasn't a shield agent. Yeah, if I activated this, it might activate this and give us a gold brick. Which we're not really here to do that. And we can't walk down that way because the door's closed. So we're supposed to go this way. And there's little signs that are giving you an indication of where you're supposed to go. This is another mini mission. I probably should just do all the mini missions next recording around the helicarrier, since we're already here and they did take a while. Alright, so we're in the collector's room, and that's why we hadn't seen this section before, is because it was magically blocked off. The collector, a character established in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's collecting people and animals and other things too. So let's see what these two different buttons do. So this lets you enter codes, which would just give you the red bricks, and I think only give you the red bricks. Maybe they would unlock some characters too. Alright, so we can buy attract studs for 100,000, and then that will allow us to move forward, and we need to get studs times 2, which is about the only red brick we can afford, and then fast fix would be helpful, but we can't really afford it. Character token detector is helpful in the levels, but not helpful really outside of the levels in the open world, because character tokens I don't think are hidden outside in the open world levels. Gold brick detectors, again helpful in the levels but not outside the levels. And then mini kit detectors, also again only helpful in the levels. Stanley and Peril, same thing. And quest detector, same thing. Although maybe quest detector does work outside the levels. Fast build would be helpful. Fast dig, collecting ghost studs would be helpful. We don't need to target the second player. We don't need unlimited team up moves. What you don't have is a red brick detector ever, and you don't have anything that is particularly out of order here. It's just fast dig and fast build, and we haven't even seen that much digging in the game. We don't even, I think, have a character that can dig. So let's see what this character does. This one, I suppose, would be the best way to go and choose the levels. And this also gives us a nice chronological order in which to do the DLC levels after that. And by doing the DLC levels with studs times 2 or higher, we kind of guarantee that we'll have more currency, which maybe some of the DLC characters would be expensive, although I don't think they are. I think when you buy the DLC characters, they're automatically unlocked. Yeah, all these DLC characters are automatically unlocked, every single variation of them, so you don't need any extra gold or extra studs to unlock the default base game characters more than what an average player would have. I don't know if there's really anything in here of any value as far as the detention cell. It's probably just some collectibles worth maybe getting. Once again, it's probably worth running around this level, but I have using the collector's room is probably a better way to do things. Right. Then here we have an intelligence center that seems to not really do anything in this room. Yeah, I don't think anything happens there. And then we have fires put out and things that would move us to some more collectibles. Alright. So here's where you would do the custom characters, and this almost is exactly the same we would see. Okay. So, if I was to say custom A is this character, then it doesn't matter about the face, the hat, or any of that stuff. Although it might be helpful if they have identifiable looks. The real important thing would be the weapons. Like, would one character have the Captain America shield, one character have Thor's hammer, one have Loki's staff, Black Widow's batons, Helm's sword, destroyer gun. There's also apparently a weapon we don't even have, or several weapons we don't even have. I wouldn't be surprised if it does turn out that all of these are kind of the default characters anyways, and so you should just swap between custom characters. And it's weird that there's a whole second system here to select the second half of the custom characters, because it's not like there are Switch versions of the people that have half as many potential custom characters, because this would be insignificantly small amounts of data you would have to save. So yeah, in theory, you could go turn me to custom A, and then say, well, no, that's not the right person, let's go to custom B. But then you don't get the icons, and you have no idea. You'd have to rename each one of these characters to something useful, and I still don't think you would get any of the big characters like Bruce Banner. You still probably wouldn't have an easy way to play a character like Loki, who seems to be more important, or Vision. I didn't see anything that would indicate Vision's ability, so that's not worth doing either. The best bet is to simply just not buy any more characters and limit yourself to the locked down selection, which inherently causes the problem that you're not really playing the game the way it's designed to be played, because the way it's designed to be played would just be super confusing. And they really should address that in LEGO games in general. That they really should just say, you know what, we're going to give every character all the abilities. You get to pick whatever skin you want. We'll even potentially randomize the skin if you want us to do that. But we're not going to force you to play with each character. Of course, maybe they think that gets to more sales. But then you also run into the issue of LEGO minifigs, except for in blind bags in their series, are never freely available from the first market. Like, if you wanted just a minifig of Spider-Man, you would have to buy a Spider-Man set, or you would have to go to a collector or reseller who would be willing to take the minifigs out of the sets and then resell them to you at a high markup, I'll mention. In fact, there's a scam that goes around where people will go into stores and just steal the minifigs out of sets and resell them, and not actually steal the entire sets, which is definitely wrong and unethical to do, but people are doing it. So I don't know why the LEGO games would have such an overemphasis on minifig characters, other than that's kind of all they've got. They really have failed in all LEGO games from the beginning They've majorly failed to have a full playset from like Lego Star Wars actually show up in the Lego Star Wars games, because there have been certainly 2 or 3 different versions of the Death Star, or no, not the Death Star, but the Millennium Falcon, and yet the Millennium Falcon does not ever look like it is from any of those builds or any of those sets when it's depicted in the Lego Star Wars game. Anyways, we've gone 2 hours, and I did not intend to go 2 hours long for each of these open world recordings, so we need to wrap up. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.